Right now on Hoosier News Source, an update on the stabbing at an off-campus house party.
And a look ahead at what midterm elections have in store. From Bloomington, Indiana, you're watching Hoosier News Source.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Brooklyn Lambright.
And I'm Madison Renbarger.
An underground gasoline tank leaked into Bloomington city sewers and cleanup efforts are now underway. The City of Bloomington Utilities learned of hydrocarbon odors coming from the sewage at the Dillman Road wastewater treatment plant. The leak came from one of the underground tanks or pipes at a Marathon gas station on 3rd Street. The press release said it is unknown how long cleanup will take, but Bloomington Fire Department said there is no risk to residents as of right now. If you smell gasoline, they advise you to ventilate your home and avoid lighting any open flames.
Bloomington police say tips from the public helped them locate and arrest 2 juveniles in connection to the stabbing near campus early Saturday morning. A 17-year-old from Bloomington was interviewed and later charged with burglary, intimidation with a deadly weapon, and battery resulting in injury. Police also determined another 17-year-old male was also involved and believed to be responsible for the actual stabbing. That juvenile was charged with burglary, aggravated battery, and battery with a deadly weapon. The stabbing took place around 12:30 a.m. Saturday at a home in the 400 block of North Dunn Street. There, police found a 19-year-old male in the living room with a stab wound in his left arm. The victim was transported to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries.
Indiana State Police announced Monday that 50-year-old Richard M. Allen has been arrested for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. In 2017, 13-year-old Abby and 14-year-old Libby were found dead in a wooded area of Delphi, Indiana, after they had gone for a walk on a nearby hiking trail and didn't return home. The case brought national attention, and police released video footage from security cameras as well as audio from one of the girls' phones, hoping it would lead to an arrest. 5 years later, that arrest happened, but Police Superintendent Doug Carter said the investigation is far from over. Allen has pleaded not guilty to the charges.
It's election season, and Hoosier News Source reporter Carly Rasmussen is here to tell us what we need to know for election week. Carly?
That's right, Madison. We are less than a week away from the 2022 midterm elections. With 435 federal House seats and 34 Senate seats up for election, many are wondering what this election season will look like. I spoke with some IU faculty who can give us some insight into what lies ahead on November 8th.
Sean Byrne is a former Major General of the U.S. Army. Now, he's an IU professor and, as of 2022, an Indiana poll worker for Marion County.
I will be a poll worker for the first time on Election Day. I will work at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
But verifying voter identification will not be his only task.
I think it's a great opportunity for me to be engaged in the process as best as possible. And I don't need anything to build up my confidence in the system, but it will be good that I can, after the fact, talk to people and say, hey, I've been there, I've seen it.
Election fraud has been a conservative worry and a campaign tool against the Democrats since Donald Trump's presidential defeat in 2020. John R. Gregg is an IU adjunct and former Speaker for Indiana House of Representatives. He says that this issue is a worry for him heading into the midterms.
You know what I'm really worried about? We're going to see people after this election maintain fraud, and the elections weren't fair, and I loathe that. I think that's wrong. They're doing a great detriment to our country. Is our election system perfect? No, but I know of no case where there was fraud the way they like to make it out. These are just bullies.
Regardless of the Election Day outcome, there are a number of hot topic issues that will bring voters to the polls no matter what. But former Speaker Gregg is not sure if election night will give Americans the answers they want.
It's going to be interesting to see if the whole issue of the reversal of Roe v. Wade is a blessing to the Democrats and a curse to the Republicans, or vice versa. It's going to do something, just don't know, and we still may not be able to know and draw a conclusion after it.
Indiana will be voting on 1 U.S. Senate seat and 9 seats in the U.S. House. Other elections include multiple positions within state Congress, school board, Secretary of State, plus various state and local government roles. To see a sample ballot and check your voting status, you can visit indianavoters.in.gov. Also, be sure to tune in next week to iOS TV's Election Night partnership with the Indiana Daily Student and WIUX. We will be live streaming starting at 8 p.m. to update you on all local, state, and national elections.
IU Dance Marathon raised a total of $3.23 million over 36 hours this past weekend at the Tennis Center. From 8 p.m. Friday to 8 a.m. Sunday, members danced, sang, played games, and fundraised for Riley's Children's Hospital in Indianapolis. Featured events included stories from Riley Kids, local country artist Hank Ruff, and singer-songwriter Christian French. During the marathon, they hit the $50 million mark in dollars raised since they were founded 32 years ago. Dance Marathon is the second largest student-run philanthropy in the country. Kayla Craig now joins us with the latest on this week's weather. Kayla?
Thanks, Brooklyn. Today we can expect to stay in the 60s for most of the day. Clouds will move out as the day goes on, giving us some sun this afternoon as the sun starts to set. Let's have a look at our game day forecast. This Saturday we'll take on Penn State here at home, and we can expect some great game day weather. We'll stay in the upper 60s, covered by some clouds for most of the day, but there is a chance of rain Saturday night after the game, so keep an eye out for any post-game showers. Let's see what to expect for the rest of the week. All week we'll have highs around the high 60s and low 70s and some sun throughout the day tomorrow. We've got a chance of rain this weekend starting Saturday evening through Monday, but it looks like the rain will move out by Tuesday. Stay safe and have a great week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, have you had trouble scheduling a CAPS appointment? We'll tell you why coming up next.
And we'll tell you about the new scooter safety lessons being taught right here at IU. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Ashton Hackman joins us in studio with the latest on international news. Ashton?
Thanks, Madison. South Korean officials continue to hear public outcry as mourning continues after a crowd crush killed more than 150 people at a Halloween party in the Itaewon district. 26 citizens from 14 countries were among those killed in the tragedy. It was the first large-scale social event since before the pandemic. Many of the victims were in their teens and 20s. Police officials and the South Korean government are continuing to investigate. 9 people have been arrested in India after a bridge collapse took the lives of at least 134 people and injured dozens more. The 9 suspects, all associated with an electrical appliance manufacturer, are under investigation for culpable homicide. The bridge, which reopened after repairs, was 230 meters long. Home Minister Arsh Sanghavi says a cable at one end appears to have snapped. Families of those killed and injured in the collapse are set to receive financial compensation. And Brazilians are starting the week with a declared winner in that nation's presidential election. Former left-wing President Luiz Inácio da Silva was pronounced the winner, defeating incumbent right-wing President Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro has yet to acknowledge his loss publicly. Da Silva previously served as that nation's president from 2003 to December of 2010 and is set to take office on January 1st. That's what's going on around the world. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Ashton. The Counseling and Psychological Services here at IU provide students with resources like licensed professionals when dealing with mental health issues. But some students have had difficulty accessing those resources. I spoke to one of those students and took a look at why scheduling with CAPS is difficult right now. Reese Kellum, a freshman at IU Bloomington, recently tried to schedule an appointment with CAPS, the Counseling and Psychological Services provided to students on campus. She encountered some difficulties while trying to schedule her first appointment.
Get frequent appointments. There's a lot of cancellations, most of the time the day of too.
Students requiring immediate psychological services might find it difficult to quickly schedule an appointment with CAPS or to continue having consecutive appointments. Kellum notes the extended length of time between her appointments.
Ended up being a 4-week gap between my first appointment and my second appointment, which is kind of difficult because I know I'm talking with a therapist and they want me to go a little more frequently, especially with nutrition needs right now.
CAPS provides 2 free appointments per semester to students who have paid the student health fee. However, students may be discouraged to redeem these appointments if they are unable to book with a therapist. Despite her difficulty setting up appointments, Kellum is satisfied with the help CAPS has provided her thus far.
It's difficult to get an appointment, but once you get an appointment and you work with whoever you're working with, they do a pretty good, or personally for me, I think they did a pretty good job at what they're doing.
To book an appointment with CAPS or to reach their hotline, call 812-855-5711. Students get 2 free appointments per semester, and the first of those appointments can be scheduled online at CAPS website.
Flu season is upon us, and IU announced 2 additional flu clinic dates for students, faculty, and staff. The flu clinic started at the beginning of October, but now will extend into this November. Appointments are available this Friday, November 4th, Monday the 7th, both from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Patrons can only make appointments online at healthcenter.indiana.edu.
The Student Health Center hosted their once-a-semester free STI testing at the IMU. The event brings over 2,050 students a semester to get tested and seek out medical help that they might not know they needed. This grant-funded event is an opportunity for students to navigate the process of STIs and talk to specialists for future help. The Student Health Center and the Center for Disease Control hopes to make students feel comfortable talking about their sexual health.
Every year we have like 250 students who come and engage in conversations about sexual and reproductive health, and a large portion of those are tested for free. And we also provide free treatment as well.
The Student Health Center will host this event again next semester in the beginning of April.
Last week, Lyme and IUPD partnered up to encourage scooter safety. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, officers and Lyme employees handed out over 100 free Lyme helmets to students. Students could also participate in a free scooter ride. The event comes after a number of scooter-related accidents and 2 deaths. The dangers of these vehicles led IUPD to regulate riding times. Now scooters are banned from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. each day. While unexpected, IUPD says that they are prioritizing student safety.
I don't think we predicted that they were going to be maybe as dangerous as they are, but that's why we're having these events now, because we're seeing the accidents and we just want to make sure our students are prepared when they step on one.
Black helmets were handed out to students on Friday after safety concerns. While Lyme does not classify their vehicles as motorized vehicles, IUPD does. The white Lyme helmets include a warning label reading, "This helmet is not for motor vehicle use."
IU football did have a bye week, but basketball and soccer both had busy weekends. Mason Williams now joins us for the latest on IU athletics. Mason?
Thanks, guys. Crossover season is upon us as fall sports wind down and make way for the return of winter athletics. We start with Indiana basketball, where Mike Woodson's AP Top 15 team kicked off exhibition play on Saturday. On a day where IU celebrated the 50th anniversary of the 1973 Big Ten champs and Final Four participants, the Hoosiers jumped out to a 10-0 lead and never looked back. Indiana trounced Marion 78-42, featuring standout performances from 5-star freshmen Jalen Hood-Schifino and Malik Renew. They'll be back in action on Thursday to take on St. Francis in their final exhibition before the season. Switching over to soccer, Todd Yeagley's squad finished off their regular season with 2 contests in Bloomington this weekend, a 3-0 win over Trine and an agonizing 1-1 draw with Maryland. The Terrapins' 87th minute goal saw them clinch the Big Ten title and snatch away a share of it from Indiana. The Hoosiers will host Penn State in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament this Friday in Bloomington. Elsewhere this upcoming week, football and volleyball continue to finish out their 2022 schedule, and women's basketball makes their much anticipated return to Assembly Hall. That's all for Indiana sports this past weekend, guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Mason, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
For more information on this week's stories, check out iustv.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News.
I'm Madison Renbarger.
And Brooklyn Lambright. From Bloomington, Indiana, we'll see you next time.